Welcome to WeTeach, my dear students. As a continuation to the previous session, here we are going to study the components of database management system. What are the components of database management system? The first one is database, DBMS, application programmers, and the end user. Here, if you look into these components, they are categorized as the data, hardware, software, and users. Here you can see the data is the most important one, that what we are studying about, what we are going to store, and what we are going to access in the future implementation. The most crucial component of the database system is the data, and which is stored in it. While coming to the real world applications, the storage of data is in the large amount and processing of the data is in the huge way, which are accessed by the users through the application programs. There are two types of data a database stores, that is the data and the metadata. While the user data contains, that means there are two kinds of data, that is user data as well as metadata. The user data contains the data support user applications, where coming to the next one is metadata, stores the data about the data, that means which describes the information about the data, and here it gives the structure of database and includes the information regarding the number of tables, table name, number of fields and field names, including the primary key fields and types of predefined queries. While coming to the hardware consists of secondary storage device on which the data is stored, and here the input and output devices for receiving and giving the data to the users. Next one is the processor and main memory for processing the data in the fast and efficient manner. See, here we are studying about the hardware requirement of maintaining the data is, the first one is secondary storage, next one is input output devices, and next one is the processor, next one is main memory, and these are the hardware components that are required for maintaining the data and store the data. The next one is software. DBMS software acts as a bridge between the user and database, that means which acts as intermediary between the user and the database, that means which helps the user to maintain the data, to access the data, to make different actions on the data. The DBMS acts as the intermediary. It interacts with the user application programs and the database to insert, update, delete and retrieve the data. That means with the help of these keywords, the user can perform actions on the database with the help of DBMS. The users are the people who access the data from database to perform primary business responsibilities, and data users can be classified into different categories. They are like this. Look into the picture. The first and foremost one is database administrator, programmers, end users, and analysts. So these are different types of users that are involved in the database maintenance. Here the database administrator is responsible for giving and administrating the database. Programmers are responsible for creating the database. Analysts are responsible for what are the users or who are the users that can access the database. End users are the users who can access the database through application programs with the help of DBMS. Application program is the help of DBMS, and all these actions, either what kind of user it is, all these are done with the help of DBMS to work on the data. Here we can have the study of all these users. They are, the first one is application programmers. Application programmers are the users. They write application programs to access, retrieve, update and delete, or to add new data to the database. These programs are written using the high level language, preferably called the SQL, which is nothing but structured query language, which is the fourth generation in the language consequence. The next one is end users. End users are the users who use the application programs developed by the application developers. They need not know the database design, working and access mechanism and other technical details of the database. So simply they need the accessibility of the database. They need not know the technical issues or the technical data about the data. And again, the end users are again divided into two types. They are sophisticated end users, unsophisticated end users. Here the end users write their own queries to access the and process the data stored in the database. They are called sophisticated end users. Unsophisticated end users are, they interact with the system through already written application program, and they follow the instructions provided by the interface to retrieve the data from database. The next one is the important one, database administrator. Database administrator, that is DBA, makes the strategic and policy decisions regarding the data. He provides the technical support for implementing these decisions, and it is responsible for overall control of the system, that is database system, at the technical level. So database administrator plays an important role from the creation of the database to the giving accessibility of database to the end users. Next one is system analyst. System analysts identify the end users and their requirements and plan the solutions and recommend the hardware and software for the best meet of business goals. That means who are the end users, who can access the database, and in what way the database need to be accessed by the end users. They play a major role in the database design by writing the end user requirements. And in a technical requirement, the definition or the document after conducting the technical and economical feasibility analysis and identifies the requirements by the users. So this is done by the analyst. So far we studied about the database users. Now we are going to see the database views. Here a database is a collection of interrelated data and the set of programs that enable multiple users to access, modify, share and process the data. Simultaneously, a big responsibility of the DBMS is to provide user with abstract view of the data to hide the details how the data is stored and maintained. A database administrator enforces the data abstraction in the database system by defining the data view in three levels. They are physical level, logical level and external level. That means the structure view provides the structure of data, that is the structure of data, how the data need to be accessed and served as a service to the end user. Here in the physical level, this is the lowest level of the abstraction that focuses on how the data is actually stored. That means the physical arrangement and location of data in the direct access storage device. It describes the low level complex data structures in detail. Database specialists use these details to design efficient algorithm to access the data and make the efficient use of storage and processing the processes. Here in the physical level, it gives us the storage structure, of data. The next one is logical level. The second one is logical level. Logical view describes two things, that is first what data is stored in the database, that means what kind of data, and second is the relationship that exists among the data, and users at this level are the DBMS, that means database administrators. External level, the third one is external level. Every user is concerned with the part of data in the database, and external level is the highest level of abstraction, that means which gives accessibility to the users and hides the complexities from the users and exists only to the simplify users interaction with the system. Since all the users and programmers do not require the entire data stored in the database, this is the most important part that we need to consider. There are some users that they need only part of the data of a database or the entire data. That means that is depending upon the requirement. Some users need only partial amount of data and some users require the entire data. The external level describes the part of database for the particular group of users, and it enables customization of data according to the user needs. That means what part of the data is required by the user, so that the same data can be seen by different users in different ways simultaneously. That means one data can be viewed by different ways as per their requirements or needs. Here you can see the physical or internal level, which gives us the storage structure, logical one, which gives storage as well as the data and the relationship among the data. Next one is based on the user requirements. The external level provide different views to the users based on the user needs. So this is about the three levels of data storage and abstraction of data which is stored in the database. Thank you so much, students. We will continue in the next session.